Tanse, thank you for clicking on this video. In honor of sâkihitowin, kîsikâw, i.e. Valentine's Day, I will show you how to make these heart-shaped earrings using a ladder stitch. Before I move on to outlining the supplies required to complete today's project, I want to discuss sâkihitowin, kîsikâw, Valentine's Day, and its relationship to the Métis people. While Valentine's Day itself is not particularly important to the Métis, familiar love and kinship are core principles of Métis culture. During our project today, as we create our own heart hoop earrings, consider the Métis tradition of shared responsibility and support. Think about how you can deepen your own commitment to familiar love and kinship, and how this in turn could strengthen your home community and your connection to Métis culture. Now, let's move on to the supplies needed to complete today's project. If you signed up to receive the February 2026 mailout from the Otipemisiwak Métis Government's Youth Team, you should have received most of the items needed to complete this project. If you did not sign up for this mailout, that's okay. You can purchase the supplies we list independently and follow along. 3 different colors of size 10 seed beads. Since today's project is Valentine's themed, I will be using beads that give that vibe. A pair of heart-shaped hoop earrings. Some beading thread in size D. A size 10 beading needle. Wax or thread conditioner. Scissors. A lighter. And optionally, some Mod Podge and a paintbrush to apply it with. Let's cut off about an arm span of thread. Next, let's condition the thread by running it along your beeswax or thread conditioner. Once your thread is conditioned, thread your needle. Don't worry if threading the needle takes a few tries. Practice makes perfect, and we all start somewhere. Since some of the movements required for these stitches are intricate, I've elected to show you how to do them using larger beads, thread, and a heart hoop to bead on. Now, tie one of the thread tails to the heart hoop like so. Be sure to tie at least a double knot. Next, pick up 4 white beads on your needle and slide them down your thread until they are flush with the hoop. Then, put your needle under the hoop like this and pull your thread. Then go up the last 2 beads we added to your thread and pull it tight. Now we are going to secure the beads we just added. To do this, you are going to push your needle and thread back down the other 2 beads, like this. Next, we will go back up the last 2 beads we strung onto our thread. Now we are going to pick up 2 more white beads. Again, we will slide these beads down our needle and thread until they are flush with our hoop. Then we will bring our needle and thread under the hoop again, like this, and secure these beads by going back up them, like so. You will repeat this process until we have covered the whole hoop in white beads. Please note that the number of beads needed to go around this hoop will vary depending on the size of your hoop. If you signed up to receive the February 2026 mailout from the Otipemisiwak Métis Government's Youth Team, you will need to create approximately 80 rows of beads to go all the way around your hoop. For brevity, we will meet back up once I finish adding white beads all around the hoop. Be patient with yourself and give yourself grace while you complete this step. It's no small feat. Okay, so I have now completed beading around my hoop. Unfortunately, my thread is now too short to work with. So I'm going to show you how to tie it off. First, I'm going to drive my needle and thread down the second to last row of beads. As you can see, I'm pointing out the pieces of thread that hold the beads to the hoop. For simplicity, I will refer to them as thread bridges. You will hook your needle between the second to last row of beads, thread bridge, like so. Then you will begin to pull your thread through where you hooked your needle. As you do so, you will notice a loop forming in your thread. You will then pull your needle and remaining thread through this loop. This will create a knot. Congratulations, you have technically tied off your thread. To hide the knot inside of your beads, go back up the second to last row of beads you added, like this. But before you snip your thread, I recommend weaving it through a couple more rows of beads. Once you have successfully woven the thread through, you can snip the thread and cinch it down with a lighter. Now we are almost ready to move on to the next step, adding scalloped edges. However, before we do that, we need to cut another arm span of thread, and we need to condition that thread and thread it through the needle. For brevity, I did this off camera. Next, you are going to hook your needle between the third to last row of beads you added thread bridge, like so. Then you will pull the thread through where you hooked the needle, leaving a small tail. You will then hook the same thread bridge again and pull the remaining thread through where your needle hooked. As you do so, you will notice a thread loop forming. Drive your needle and thread through that loop. Again, this creates a knot. To hide the knot, drive your needle up the third to last row of beads you added, like this. Then, drive your needle and thread down the second to last row of beads you added, like so. Then, push your needle back up the final row of beads you've added. Now, we are finally ready to work on the scalloped edges of our earring. Once you have added a new piece of thread to your work, you can start working on the scallop edging. I chose to use darker pink beads for the outer layer of the scallop and light pink beads for the inner layer. Since beading is an art form, you can use whatever color or combination of beads you want for this next step. To start, pick up 9 of the beads you want to make up the outer layer of your scallop. Slide those 9 beads down your needle and thread so that they are touching the white beads we previously attached. Next, push your needle and thread down the rows of white beads that are 4 rows away from where your thread is currently positioned, like this. You can see me double checking to make sure that I counted correctly. Feel free to do this as well. To add the inner portion of the scallop, we need to backtrack. To do this, hook the thread bridge closest to where your needle came out, like this. Then, hook it again and pull your thread. This should create a loop. Drive your needle and remaining thread through that loop to create a knot. Then go back up those 2 white beads and the beads forming the outer layer of the scallop, like so. Then push your thread back down the 2 white beads we started at. Next, push your needle and thread up the next set of white beads. Then pick up 5 of the beads you want to form the inner layer of your scallop. Push those 5 beads down your needle and thread, like so. Then push your needle and thread down the set of beads that are 2 beads away from your current thread position, like this. Then push your needle and thread back up the next set of white beads, like so. Next, push your needle and thread down the beads next to your current thread position. Tie a knot to those beads as thread bridge, and push your needle back up those beads, like this. Now, repeat this process until the entire hoop is covered in scallop edging. Once your hoop is covered, be sure to tie off your thread and to singe off your ends with the lighter. We will meet back up over here once I have done so. Once you have finished adding the scalloped edges to your hoop, your beadwork should look something like this. You would obviously repeat the same process to finish the other earring. Technically, you could turn this video off here and have two cute doily-esque earrings. However, if you want to level up your earrings, you can continue watching this video for the next step, adding Mod Podge. I bought this small bottle of Mod Podge at Dollarama, but you can buy it anywhere craft supplies are sold. I have exclusively used the gloss finish Mod Podge for beadwork, but you could probably use any version of Mod Podge for this step and achieve a similar result. I just squirted some Mod Podge onto a scrap piece of cardboard, grabbed a regular paintbrush, and applied a coat of it to the bead portion of this project. If you choose to add the Mod Podge, be sure not to get too much of it on the hoop. If you are concerned that it is white, don't worry, it will dry transparent. Be sure to let the Mod Podge fully cure before wearing your earrings. If you put them on before they are fully dry, you may warp your beads. Once you have finished adding your Mod Podge, you're officially done with this project. Congratulations on making the cutest earrings ahead of Valentine's Day. Before I close out the video, myself and the rest of the youth department want to wish you the happiest of Valentine's Days. I know that Valentine's Day can seem like a very commercialized and pointless holiday, but I like to think of it as a day to celebrate all different kinds of love and to reflect on how we can be putting more love out into the world. I truly believe that this is a key tenet of Métis culture, and I hope you do too. Examaga, that's all for now.